On a humid night in May 2005, commuters walking through Singapore's busiest shopping district noticed something abandoned near Orchard MRT station. At first, it looked like discarded trash. But when police opened the plastic bags, they discovered severed human body parts. Within hours, one of Singapore's most disturbing murder investigations had begun. And what investigators uncovered inside a quiet apartment would permanently scar the city's memory. In 2005, Singapore had one of the lowest violent crime rates in the world. Murders were rare. Dismemberment killings were almost unheard of. Orchard Road was the city's symbol of safety and prosperity. Crowded malls, tourists, luxury stores, and endless foot traffic. Which is why the discovery shocked the nation so deeply. Whoever abandoned the remains had chosen the busiest district in Singapore. And investigators quickly realized this wasn't random. Inside the bags were severed limbs wrapped carefully in plastic. Investigators immediately suspected the killer had attempted to dispose of the body in multiple locations. But Orchard Road wasn't the only site. Soon, additional remains were discovered near MacRitchie Reservoir, a quiet forested area known for isolated jogging trails and dense jungle cover. The locations raised disturbing questions. Was the killer familiar with Singapore's hidden spaces? And why leave evidence in places guaranteed to attract attention? MacRitchie Reservoir already carried its own unsettling reputation. Dense jungle, isolated trails, stories of disappearances whispered among late-night hikers. But this time, the horror was real. Detectives believed the killer had tried to scatter the remains to delay identification. Yet forensic evidence soon led investigators toward a victim with a name: Jane Parangan La Puebla. Jane Parangan La Puebla was a Filipino domestic worker living in Singapore. Like thousands of overseas workers, she had come seeking financial stability and a better future for her family back home. Friends described her as trusting, hardworking, and quiet. But investigators soon learned she had recently argued with someone close to her over money, a debt worth just 2,000 Singapore dollars. Police attention soon focused on one of Jane's acquaintances, a fellow Filipino domestic worker named Nancy. Investigators believed financial tensions between the two women had escalated violently inside a residential apartment. According to court findings, the confrontation turned physical. Jane died during the struggle. But what happened afterward shocked even experienced investigators. Inside the apartment, forensic teams discovered signs that the body had been dismembered after death. The confined bathroom space, cleaning chemicals, and evidence of attempted disposal painted a horrifying picture of panic and desperation. Singapore's media rarely reported crimes this graphic. Yet details leaked quickly through newspapers, radio discussions, and whispered conversations across the city. Fear spread fast, not because people feared a serial killer, but because the crime felt disturbingly human. As with many violent crimes in Singapore, the murder slowly merged with urban folklore. Anonymous online posts claimed commuters heard crying near Orchard MRT late at night. Others described seeing a woman standing near station exits before suddenly disappearing. None of these stories were verified. But the psychological effect of the case lingered for years. Ordinary places no longer felt entirely safe. The case eventually reached Singapore's courts. Prosecutors argued the killing emerged from a violent confrontation linked to a financial dispute. The defendant was ultimately convicted of manslaughter rather than murder. But for many Singaporeans, the legal outcome never erased the horror of what happened afterward. The dismemberment, the disposal, the cold attempt to erase a human life piece by piece. Unlike supernatural legends, this case endured because it revealed something more frightening than ghosts. The killer and victim knew each other. The crime emerged from stress, debt, fear, and panic. It happened inside an ordinary apartment in one of the safest cities on Earth. And afterward, pieces of a human body were carried through crowded streets where thousands walked unknowingly past them. For many people, that reality was harder to process than any ghost story. Today, Orchard Road remains crowded with tourists, shoppers, and commuters. Most people walking past Somerset and Orchard MRT stations have no idea what happened there in 2005. But older residents still remember the headlines, the photographs, the fear, and the unsettling realization that even in places built on order and safety, unimaginable violence can still exist quietly beneath the surface. The Orchard Road body parts murder remains one of Singapore's most disturbing modern crimes, not because of mythology, but because it really happened.